All right, will Brahmastra be the Astra Bollywood needs to revive itself? The Hindi film industry is desperately seeking redemption and is now hoping against hope that the Ranbir Kapoor Alia Bhatt starrer will flip the script for Bollywood. The movie released today and, as the usual plot goes, has already seen its own boycott trend. After all, what's a Bollywood release nowadays without someone wanting to boycott it? Anyway, this optimism stems from advance bookings of about 1.8 lakh tickets for opening day across major national multiple chains. To put that into perspective, the number for Lal Singh Chadda was 63,000. For Raksha Bandhan, it was 34,000. This is opening day advance numbers. It was 92,000 for Bhool Bhulaiya, 54,000 for Jug Jug Jio, 56,000 for Gangubai, and a little over 1 lakh rupees, 1 lakh tickets for RRR, the Hindi version. Now, the last time we talked about Bollywood woes, we did a reality check on booking. So, as of 8 p.m. this evening, this is how bookings look for Brahmastra, the 3D version for a Sunday 9 p.m. show in PVR, Phoenix in Mumbai. I've picked that theatre because that's what we picked last time when we spoke about Lal Singh Chadda and about Raksha Bandhan. So 3 out of 9 rows were booked. It's not great, but better than Lal Singh Chadda for sure. The question is, are we going to see, Brahmastra really turn the tide for Bollywood? Devang Sampath, CEO of Cinepolis India, is joining us on the show to speak on this evening. I'm also speaking with Geetika Ganju, anchor, actor and author. Komal Nahta is joining us today on the show as well. Welcome to all of you and thank you so much for speaking with us. Komal, great to have you on the show on Beyond the Headline. Let me begin with what you thought of the movie and why there are such polarized reviews. I can understand that, people like or dislike a movie, but here some people absolutely love it or they absolutely hate it. So who should we believe?
I think each one knows, everybody knows in their heart of hearts whom to believe and whom not to believe. A lot of reviews are biased reviews, and by its very nature, a review has to be unbiased, has to be fair, has to be honest, has to be true. But sadly, in this profession, there is very little of integrity left. So it is a sad case. And I agree with you that whom to believe. But I still feel that people read a lot of reviews, but they know whom to believe and which reviews to read just for the heck of it, just for the fun of it.
What is your take, Komal?
Of course, it's a lovely film. See,
are you saying that
people...
because you're rooting? Are you saying that because you're rooting for Ranbir, Alia, and for the industry, or do you honestly think it's a lovely film? Because some are saying, and some big names are calling it, not so great, to be very polite.
I'll tell you, the same big names had called Karan Johar Jug Jug Jio a blockbuster, gave it 4.5 stars, 5 stars. What happened? It flopped, na? It was expected to do 200 crore. It stopped at 75 or 80 crore. So don't go by names. Don't tell me that a lot of big names are saying this or big names are saying that. As I said, there are a lot of angles involved. And let me tell you why a lot of people have gone wrong. I may be wrong in this analysis of why people have gone wrong, but I feel it is not a regular film. The visual effects are of the kind we have never seen in Hindi films. So all the reviewers, most of the reviewers started writing their reviews based on the template format. This is less, this is more. But here, if the emotions are less, if they don't make you cry, if there's not much comedy, there is visual effects of the kind never seen before. So the audience doesn't go in doesn't take measured amounts and says that, yes, this film is hit or this film is a flop. If it entertains them, it's a successful film. If it doesn't entertain, it's a failure. And that is what is happening. That is going wrong. So the reports will be out now, 1 or 2 days more, and the world will know where the film is headed.
So, Devang, I started this segment by asking whether Brahmastra is going to flip the script for Bollywood. What are the opening numbers looking like?
Fantastic. I couldn't agree with what Komalji just mentioned. So I think after a long look, I just wanted to go back to a point where, we are saying Bollywood is that on an average, we've been releasing about 200 films in a year. And in those 200 films, we have seen about 20 films crossing the benchmark that we expect from Bollywood to cross, which may be about 200 crore, 300 crore, 400 crore benchmark. It has happened in a way that March, April, May, these 3 months have been consistently performing and outperforming all the numbers that we would have thought of. After that, now 3 consecutive months, we've received movies which probably was not accepted by the audience, and that is a fact. Now, today's number again is amazing. I would fully agree with what
What is
Komal
the
just mentioned
opening
about.
number, Devangji? What is the opening number for first day?
At Cinepolis, we have received in 400 screens. We have received about 150,000 admits, which basically means that movie will cross about 30 crore net box office in India.
But it costs 400 crores. Wouldn't that account as a flop?
Oh well, then I have to learn definition of flop and hit because
No, I'm asking you. You know the
crore.
business. So my point, the way we look at it is, if a movie costs 400 crores, shouldn't it make back the money it cost? Doesn't it work that way?
Look, I don't really follow the benchmarking of what cost of production is. We really don't know that. What deal you sell at satellite, we don't know that. At what rate you sell your digital rights, we don't know that. So what is the overseas
you're looking
will
at,
be?
no, I get your point. If 400 crores is the cost of the movie and you're making 250 crores from tickets, then of course it's a hit because you're not counting in what you've, made selling it overseas and on OTT platforms and etc. and all of the bells and whistles. Okay, so I get that. So by that definition, you're saying 250 crores is a super hit.
Well, whether it will be 250 crore or 400 crores, we'll know down the line. Day one collection is 30 crore for sure, and it will only grow with the word of mouth. Like Komalji mentioned, I don't see that people only follow the view of few critics, but they do in general posting on what people are posting on digital media. I personally saw the film today evening, and people were literally clapping and whistling during the entry of few stars and few dialogues. So I think this will have a long leg. Till December 30th, we don't have any other, till September 30th, we don't have any other major movie coming in. For sure, I do see that this movie will carry a long leg.
All right, Geetika ji, great to have you on the show and thank you for your patience. I wanted to know, as someone from this industry, and you've been part of a very big film recently which didn't fare as well. This one, we'll see how it goes. How do you feel when films sometimes become victims to boycott trends or to the views of some people on social media, where someone says it's a bad movie and then no one wants to watch it? Do you think boycott trends and poor reviews have a very big role in the performance of a movie?
No, I don't. No. And repeatedly, it's been said on so many shows, that boycott trends, bad reviews, public opinion on social media, it doesn't really affect in a very huge way how a film does at the box office. Now, if you take the case of this particular film, Brahmastra, as an audience, I can tell you, when I, for the first time, saw the trailer in the theaters, when I had gone to see the film that I starred in also, I was enraptured by just the trailer. So I think the trailer does the trick for many a film. And, in America, in Hollywood, the cutting of a trailer is supposed to be one of the most important jobs that is done for a film once the film is ready. I think this film has the most fantastic trailer, and it's a huge reason why people are going to go in and watch this. Then again, the promotions that they've done extensive promotions, so that also has helped. Word of mouth will help, and word of mouth necessarily doesn't mean what people are posting on social media, because I think people in India are very intelligent. Social media needs to be taken with a pinch of salt. जो आपस में लोग बातचीत करते हैं, वो word of mouth होता है, and हर film का एक vibe होता है. Okay, this film has that vibe. It makes you want to see it. The topic is so interesting. It's something that's never really been done before, and it seems to have been done well.
It's supposed to be India's answer to Marvel, with our own superheroes and our own, superpowers, and the Marvel formula has worked.
Marvel. My daughter loves Marvel, and with full respect to Marvel, but I think this is our own thing. This is हमारा अपना कुछ है ये. It's fascinating, Brahmastra and this whole world that they seem to have created. And if you look at Instagram, you will see how the youth of today is very, very attracted to the concept of astral travel, to the concept of divine, to the concept of can this happen, parallel time. The timing of this film and the script and the plot also, I think, is really going to work in its favor, I feel.
Okay. So this is not so much about whether Brahmastra is a good movie or not a good movie. That I think let people decide for themselves. But Mr. Nahta, the reason I was keen to speak about this is whether this movie sort of changes the mood. This whole narrative that we've been also discussing over the last few weeks, that Bollywood has kind of lost the plot. It's the same ghisa-pita kind of movie plots. No one wants to go in necessarily to see a movie because there's a big star there. There is enough of option and opportunity to watch something on OTT. So you really need to give us something good to pull us into the theatres. Do you think some of that narrative will be softened with Brahmastra? Komal Nahta, that question for you.
Yes, it will be, because Brahmastra is a star-studded film, all right, but it at least attempts something new. It has given visual effects of the kind never before seen in a Hindi film. And therefore, it is hoped that the success rate or the flow of successful films will now improve. It doesn't mean that because Brahmastra has clicked, the other films will also click. But what I mean to say is, suddenly people will realize that all is not lost, because the feeling was all is lost. Bollywood doesn't know to make films. There always comes a time in every 10, 15 years when a lot of churning happens, when the old kind of films stop doing well and new faces, new writers, new talent comes into the industry. I think this is that part of that those 10, 15 years part has come now, because suddenly everybody seems to be going wrong, and for a good reason. The films just don't seem to appeal. I'll also like to add here, you had asked me in your first question to me that did I feel that the film was good because I was rooting for the film and for Bollywood? Well, I have a dual capacity. I am a trade analyst as well as a film reviewer. When I review films, I won't even spare my own film if I made. I have not spared my dad's films. My dad was a film producer. I'm not spared my uncle's films. So there's absolutely no question of me taking sides. I may be wrong in a film, but giving a review partially is just not me. My uncle had made Kissa Kursi Ka, and it had got promotions, pre-promotion worth hundreds of crores of rupees because it was in the headline. But when we reviewed the film, we said it will not run for a single show, and it flopped. It was my uncle's film, my dad's father's film. So that is the kind of integrity we maintain.
No, that's true. Komal, I must say this. You never pull your punches, and you say it as it is. But, the reason I talked about famous reviewers is because two of the multiplex chains are listed companies, and Devang knows this. And after some of the reviews today, the stock price plummeted. Some 800 crores of equity got wiped out of investor wealth. So here we're talking about 30 crores on day one, but the stocks reacted like that. But chalo, that's a bigger story and a broader story. Devang, on the question of big Bollywood movies becoming targets on social media. Now, what is behind that? Sometimes one wonders whether it's part of the whole publicity strategy. The publicity team khud hi trend karwa rahi hai, taki there's a buzz. That's one conspiracy theory. Another conspiracy theory is that whenever there's a big star, this whole nepotism thing begins again. Then if an actor has said something some 10, 11, 15, 100 years ago, that will be pulled up and dragged up. And then that becomes a big thing. There's always some lobby or the other. Where does all of this come from? And does this give you sleepless nights, Devang?
Absolutely, yeah, sleepless nights for sure. But we kept on. We as an organization, we believe a lot in doing analysis, and what we learned over a time is, meaning India is still. We are talking about out of our 140 crore population, there are still only about 4 crore people watch this movie. And there are about 40 crore people on social media on various platforms. So yes, there are 4 crore people who wants to go for a movie either in a multiplex or in a single screen in India. But there are 40 crore people on a social media who keeps talking about boycott, 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 or do something else. So, so our data research says that the people who are wanting to come for movie, irrespective of those boycott, the film does not have any impact on that. I do not think any producers or actors would like to participate in promoting their films in a boycott zone, because eventually everybody makes films with their heart and with their passion, and they don't want to get into any negative publicity zone if it is really not required. So yes, there are few trends, there are few I would say people, socialists in the social media who keeps talking about boycott, but I don't think it absolutely makes any difference at the box office. Initially, we did have Sleepless Night, but even pre-COVID, those boycott trend was there for a few movies, and it eventually went on becoming the highest movie grosser for that year. So I don't think it has any effect on box office for sure.
But it does have a chilling effect, I'm sure, on the creative process. Geetika ji, if, you always have this cloud over your head as artists, then while producing the movie, while scripting, while giving interviews, you're always thinking that, you don't know what's coming out of my mouth and when it'll come back to bite me.
Two things here I'd like to say very quickly. That a film is like a work of art. Okay, let's try and change the narrative here a little bit for just a minute. Of course, there is that whole commercial angle involved, and it's a very important, the most important angle. But we all seem to have forgotten, like, film is a piece of art. When Van Gogh was alive and he was painting all those masterpieces, they weren't selling, and he, had to kill himself after his death. So you never know. 5 years later, 3 years later, the same film will be picked up and liked by a set of audience on OTT or somewhere. So saying a film is a flop it's a bit of a cruel thing to do, I feel. You asked me that an actor says something 10 years ago about doing something, not doing something, about an opinion he or she had at that time. So हम उसे माफ नहीं करने वाले. We are not going to allow that person to grow into somebody else, to regret what he or she said, to have an opinion, to not have an opinion. Shama is a huge part of our Indian culture, and we seem to have, just forsaken that. And we are a democracy. As long as you're not doing something illegal and criminal, you're allowed to have an opinion, you're allowed to have a lifestyle, you're allowed to, just be, as long as you're not doing something criminal. So I think this whole thing is not very, it's all this extortion racket. It seems like an extortion racket. It seems like a new...
No, I mean, cancel culture. Cancel culture is something which is there world over. You're calling it an extortion racket. Komal Nahta, how is it? Yes, go ahead. Please complete your point.
So, I mean, see, there seems to be how many people are involved in this bagging? A bunch of people sitting somewhere in these shady rooms must be doing this and trying to make it into a countrywide thing. It catches on a little bit. अच्छा वाह producer के पास जाएंगे, इतना पैसा दे दो, हमारा power बढ़ेगा. It's a very tacky kind of an operation. I don't see it having a very long life. It's obviously causing people sleepless nights, but I'm again saying I don't think a film can be made to be a flop or hit in our country with 1.7 billion people. It doesn't happen. If the film is catching the attention of the audience, it has the vibe.
Absolutely. And how many are on social media? How many people are on social media? How many people are looking at that hashtag boycott trend? I mean, people who are trending this also have a sort of amplified sense of self. So that is there. But Komal Nahta, just the impact this has on the creative process. Because you think about how the creative process is going to go through self-censorship at every point. Every time you're thinking of a plot twist, a dialogue, or a point of view, you're going to be thinking about how will this be received? Will there be a call for boycott because of this? Should I get the character to play this kind of a role? What if someone is offended? Do you think that that's beginning to happen as well?
Definitely, that's beginning to happen, and that is the only impact. Otherwise, who is the Bollywood brigade? It's a faceless creature that exists on social media. There's absolutely no face. There's absolutely no name. Collectively, they call themselves Bollywood Brigade, Boycott Bollywood Brigade. But I feel the Boycott Bollywood Brigade passed away today, with Brahmastra being their target, and with Brahmastra having opened so brilliantly. I think the collective Boycott Bollywood Brigade must have died, and we all should be attending the funeral tomorrow.
All right. I don't know if it's the end of the Boycott Bollywood Brigade. It's let's see. Let's not celebrate too quickly. I don't know. I'm not rooting for any particular producer.
No. What I mean is boycott. I'm not saying that the film is a hit or a flop. Boycott Bollywood. The brigade called for boycotting the film. Now, if the collections, God forbid, drop tomorrow, it is not because of the Boycott Bollywood Brigade. It is because of the content. Today, the opening took place because or in spite of the boycott call. That time, it was a closed book. Nobody had seen the film. If, despite the national call for boycott, if we get to see the collections, which may go up to 30, 31, 32 crore, it is a phenomenal figure. That is why I say the Boycott Bollywood Brigade has died today and the funeral should be tomorrow. See, Lal Singh Chadda, Raksha Bandhan did not open well, not because of the Boycott Bollywood Brigade. They did not open well because...
That is true, because no one asked for... Yeah, and no one asked for the boycott of Raksha Bandhan. No one asked for the boycott of Raksha Bandhan. It was about...
Of course, in a small way it was Raksha Bandhan, and in a bigger way it was Lal Singh Chadda. But if you recall, the moment Lal Singh Chadda's trailer was out, people had started criticizing. Amir is repeating himself, the same kind of talking. The trailer doesn't promise. So the film did not open well because it did not have hit music, because people had criticized the trailer, and the Boycott Bollywood Brigade took credit for it, but they did not realize in taking credit, giving themselves credit, they were actually telling Amir Khan that he had made a great film, which was not true. He had made a bad film and the trailer itself was bad. The film did not deserve to work, did not deserve to open well, and that is what happened. Whether there was a call for boycott or not, it wouldn't have changed much. The fortunes of
Geetika ji wanted to respond to this. Geetika ji wanted to respond to this statement that Komal Nahta made. Tomorrow is the funeral of the Boycott Brigade. That's quite a statement. Yes, Geetika.
So, first, Komal, ouch to what you said about Lal Singh Chadda, but full respect. I mean, we all,
yeah, she wasn't Lal Singh Chadda. But you know, disclaimer, Komal Nahta said that I wouldn't even spare my family member's movie. So he's that honest as a reviewer. So you have to give that to him. Yes.
But I just had to joke about it and say, ouch. What did you ask me? Sorry, Tamanna, I forgot.
No, I was saying that's quite a statement that Komal Nahta made. Yeah. Do you think this is a message for Boycott Bollywood Brigade? Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a message that they have read correctly. कि उनके बोलने से कुछ ऐसा हो नहीं रहा है रियली. जिनको हिट हो रही है वो हिट होंगी, जिनको नहीं चल रही है वो नहीं चलेगी. उनको मैसेज मिल गया है. But here I disagree a little bit. वो अपना थोड़ा efforts करते रहेंगे. They will keep trying it for the next maybe 1 year or 2 years. पर उनको message मिल गया है that it's not working, boss. It's not us that is causing the flop of ABC.
All right, Devang, let's talk about the business side a little bit. If this is going to turn the tide, what are the other big movies that you're hoping will work for the Indian film industry? Because as of yesterday, and really one swallow doesn't make a summer. So as of yesterday, there was talk of an existential crisis for Bollywood. That is this formula where you pay mega bucks and most of your budget just goes to the stars of the movie and you don't have any money left for a proper good script or direction or editing or VFX. Is that formula working? So do you think that we need more hits, and what are the movies that you're betting on in the time to come?
I think you nailed it right. I mean, like I mentioned in the previous statement and opening remark, we will have 200 films in a year, and Bollywood continues to produce that for last 10 years consistently. And those 200 films that we release, we will see 20 hit films. It is unfortunate that we have received 12 back-to-back flops, and that's how the entire quarter has gone for a toss. But
Yeah.
the next quarter looks promising. We will start with Vikram Veda. I mean, 30th September, we again see the trailers come out really nice. We have Drishyam 2 coming up. We will also have, thank God, I think the kind of content, we have Circus, which is again, Rohit Shetty's proven formula, which we will see in Christmas. Supported with quite a fantastic movie, a most awaited film, I would say, for a decade, which is Avatar. And even though it is not an Indian film industry, or it may not be Bollywood, but that film again is the most awaited film. So if we are talking about October to December, 12 weeks, we clearly see at least 6 blockbuster written all over. There are 6 semi-blockbuster which can go up becoming the major hit. At the same time,
Yep.
I would only see that there are many regional films which are awaiting. So the
Sure.
quarter looks quite exciting for me for October to December.
I think the big lesson, if any, for the Indian movie industry should not be lost. That don't take your audiences for granted. Don't think that you will put in the
Absolutely
same formula, the same, trope that has been working forever and that will continue. Yes, Geetika ji.
Also, you made a very important point there, Tamanna, about the star feast, actor feast. See, end of the day, the industry needs to sit together and ask themselves that if a star is charging 200 crores, 100 crores, is he guaranteeing that kind of business? Is it making sense on any financial level? Other industries have certain logic to how money moves, but I have nothing against somebody earning 100, 200 crores, and if they earn a little less, it doesn't bring their value as an actor down or as a star down. But there's something called economics, no? So I think they all need to sit between themselves and really.
It is the great leveler. It is the great leveler. You have to, that's why I asked Devang earlier. And then he explained it. If something costs 400 crores to make, 400 plus crores to make, it better make at least that much money back. Otherwise, you're going to go out of business.
At least 800. Otherwise, why are you making it?
All right.
It's just tanking an industry.
No, at the end of the day, it's a business. It's the business. People have to get paid, and it has to make sense. That all that effort, even though it's backed by passion, has to make sense. Yes, Komal Nahta.
While we are at this on this point of star remuneration, and we are talking about Brahmastra, let me add here, in all fairness to Ranbir Kapoor, one must say that he has not charged a single rupee so far for acting in Brahmastra. So he has done the film gratis. Of course, if the film makes money, I can well imagine Karan Johar, Star Studios, Namit Malhotra, all the producers to definitely compensate him. But so far, he has done the film for free.
All right. I mean, I good for the producers, but I don't know how many people are feeling sad for Ranbir Kapoor because he can afford to do the film for free. People watching this is Aam Aadmi. No one's feeling bad for Ranbir Kapoor.
No, it's not the question of feeling bad, but it's a gesture. If you believe in a film and you know it's very costly, it's a lovely gesture.
We hear about a lot of big stars not taking remuneration or giving back the signing amount, etc. So yes, maybe that reality check is dawning. But anyway, it's a fascinating conversation. We'll have to end it here and let's wait and see what actually happens with the movie. It's a major industry, and it also is a message about whether these concocted Bollywood trends, boycott Bollywood trends, can really make or break a movie, or is it just pure content at the end of the day? We'll take a very short break.